Take a breath. Feel your heart. Free your heart. Let it out of its cage. Today is Tarot Tuesday, and I'm excited because I love Tarot Tuesday. So we're gonna first, I have like a bunch of cards on the table, but we're gonna see what I'm called to draw from. I do want to draw from this one first, just to get like an overall prayer. Oh, that's so funny. We got heart. I allow love to lead. Change me, divine beloved, into one who can allow love to lead my life. May I offer myself completely to the highest, so all may occur as needed. Grant me peace and contentment wherever I am. Use me for the greatest good. Amen. And so it is. Okay, we'll put that one up at the top. And what do we want? Oh, I want to do the archetype cards. I want to see what we're working with. What is the underlying story that we're working with in the world right now? And what do we need to know about how we can move that into the highest light? These are the Carolyn Mace's archetype cards. So I also want to share what I've been feeling, what came to me this morning. A person came into my mind that I have struggled with. This person I consider like having the same sort of energy that I have, that scapegoat energy, but a kind of like borderline way of dealing with it, which I'm not above either. I've been there myself. And when I say borderline, I'm talking about borderline personality disorder because I'm a therapist. So in my mind, that's how it presents. But it's this, you injured me, I'm going to attack you kind of energy. You hurt me and I'm going to destroy you energy. And I was like, why is this person coming into my head today? And I've been getting messages throughout the day of that, but the one that I just got was that energy of astrology, because I listen to astrologist, and there's a Eris is that type of energy. I don't know if it's a star or what it is. I think it's a star. And then there's Chiron, the wounded healer. So I consider myself more of the wounded healer, though I have a bit of Eris in me, and I've also been kind of guided to like see that in me. And so what was coming up for me was you need to sit with that part of yourself and love that part of yourself. And I think that's what we're all being called to do, is to sit with the wounded healer in ourselves, these archetypes, the wounded healer, and Chiron in astrology, and Eris, the one who like was cast out of the party, if you want to think of it as like Maleficent. I like also think of it as Maleficent. When she was not invited to the party, she became angry and vindictive, and so that type of energy, being able to love that part of you, that's what I feel like we're being called to do right now. But let's see what the archetype cards, and me in particular today, I've been called to sit with that part of myself. Okay, so we got healer, and we got father. I'm just going to stay with that for now, okay? So healer, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Ability to help transform pain into healing. But I think it's true that you have to do it for yourself first. This is one of the painful lessons that I have been learning through my divorce. I devoted my whole life to learning about loving relationships, how to have loving relationships and loving families, because I didn't want to replicate what I saw in my family. So But what I ended up learning, and this is the painful truth, is that I still had to get a divorce, and I hurt my children, and I hurt my children before, like mentally and emotionally, just by not healing my own wounds, which I desperately tried to heal. But in all my frantic efforts to surmount every obstacle and conquer it, I sort of missed the whole point, which is that you just have to be able to be and love yourself the way that you are, which is what I'm doing now. And I think that that will have replications. I don't know if that's the right word. That's not the right word. I think that will have repercussions on my children. Like, as I heal myself, they will heal also. But it was a hard truth to swallow, that after everything that I did, I was just, I still, it wasn't what I wanted it to be. And I hurt myself. I was hurting, they were hurting, and I really had done my best. But now I'm sitting with my own pain and my own hurt and healing that and loving that. And that's really, I think, that's what I've been directed to do, and to guide others in doing that, so that we aren't projecting our pain out into the world, and we can have more compassion and love for others. So the shadow attributes of the healer are taking advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. So that's the shadow part that I fell into, is I thought that I could take care of everybody else and that would take care of me. But that wasn't actually what happened. And the shadow attribute was failing to care for myself. So now I'm being guided to actually care for and love myself and develop more compassion. I've developed a lot of compassion, but even more. And be able to bring that out into the world. So the light attributes are passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Ability to help transform pain into healing. So that's the healer. So when I'm talking about the wounded healer, I'm talking about sitting with your own wounds and loving them. And that is healing. Okay, and then the Father card, which is, it's going to be interesting to see how this plays here. Talent for creating and supporting life. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit. Okay. Shadow attributes are dictatorial control and abuse of authority. Okay. All right. I think a lot of us can probably see where that's playing out in the world. Okay. So what this is telling me is that those wounded healers out there, we need to be loving and attending to ourselves so that we can influence this energy. Bring out the light attributes of the Father in our society. Talent for creating and supporting life, positive guiding light within a tribal unit. So we have this Father archetype, and it's been beaten down. It's been abused. It hasn't been nurtured. It hasn't been loved. It hasn't been cared for. And so it has turned into this dictatorial control, abuse of authority. And we have to be able to own and make space for this in us. So this might be healing the Father wound in you. We all have wounds. So it might be healing the Father wound in you, is what I'm thinking. And if you can do that, then we can see more of the healthy attributes out there in the world. Okay, or do we want any more of these cards? I feel like I would like more, but I don't know. That's too many. Okay, we don't want that many. Let's just do the healer and the father. Let's focus on those. The healer and the father energy. All right, let's see if we have any messages from the guides. This is the James Van Praagh messages from the guides. Okay, it is choose love over fear. That's perfect. I had a feeling there was one card that was going to kind of help us to bring this together. Okay, so choose love over fear. I'm just going to read that one. Love is the natural energy of your soul. Fear is learned in the physical dimension, but with work it can be unlearned. In a perfect world, love would be taught and fear would be the anomaly. But we don't live in a perfect world. It is perfect, however, in the sense that it creates a place for your soul to encounter the energy of fear in its many guises and to dissipate it with the energy of your inner being. As you become aware of yourself as a being of light, having a physical experience, it is incumbent upon you to use your natural energy of love in all your daily encounters. When you make a choice to give in to fear instead of love, you are not acting from your soul's truth. This causes difficulty instead of ease, impatience instead of acceptance, upheaval instead of peace. You are a rower fighting a current instead of going with the flow. Every human decision you make can be boiled down to two options, love or fear. Love is kindness, compassion, forgiveness, and empathy. Fear is judgment, guilt, retribution, and envy. Do your best to follow your innate energy rather than the energy instilled upon you. Love is the great source and oneness of all. Fear is an earthly illusion. Once you acknowledge the difference, the choice between the two is easy. Okay, we're going to do the Light Seers Tarot now. This is the Light Seers Tarot. So we're going to try to get more guidance from the tarot on how we can work with these energies. And maybe the bigger picture, getting the bigger picture. Okay. Okay, and I got two cards. I got the Queen of Wands. And I got the Wheel, but it's upside down. So we're going to read both sides of that. Okay. So the Queen of Wands says, I fill my world with an intense light that connects and incites passions. Creativity, passion, determination, confidence, joy, bold expression, helping others as you build your queendom, power. Okay. So it's getting in touch with your own power. And then the Wheel. This might be what's getting in the way, or what we need to look at in order to do that. I allow the transformative energies of fate help me to expand my experience. I allow the transformative energies of fate help me to expand my experience. Okay, this is kind of the message that I've been getting with this, is that I think the healers are being called to, yeah, I've been getting this message. The healers are being called to use their gifts in the world, but before we go out there and use them, because there's coming a time when we're going to really be needed. And I've seen this other places too, but this one I'm getting from inside. All the healers out there are being called to use their gifts in the world to change the direction of where things are headed right now. But in order to do that, we really have to love and look at, we really have to love all of the parts of ourselves. And so you may be being called inward to do that, to spend time with yourself, shut down everything else and kind of just be with yourself and let these parts come up in you. Meet them with love. Just meet them with love. Allow them to express what they need to express and just meet them with love. The opposite side, or the other side, the shadow seer side of the wheel, is misfortune, karma, a need to relinquish control, the ups and downs of life, the inevitability of change, and unexpected setback. Okay, so I'm going to read that one as really what it is right now is the need to relinquish control. And the message that I keep getting every time I start to get into something, it's taken away. And it's that, I keep just getting the message, you are not in control. Stay in the present moment. And that's what I think that we're needing to do. You're not in control. You don't know what's going to happen. None of us do. Stay in the present moment and attend to yourself. Okay, so that's the message that I'm getting from the wheel. And the fairy tale heroine oracle, I want to pull a card from this. I think just one card, but we'll see what comes up. I can never open this box. I don't know why. I don't know why, but it just oh, there it goes. Why can I never figure out how to open this box? And it says, stories are spells, they change things. May they, and the images you encounter in this deck, offer sound guidance for your heroine's journey. And I have heard of the tarot also as the hero's journey, or the heroine's journey. I've heard that the tarot is also that. Okay, whoa. Okay, we got a bunch, but we'll see what they say. Okay, so we got the apprenticeship. So we're learning apprenticeship. Sleeping, rest as a way of healing. Disguising. Shape-shifting. We have way too many, but we'll see why we have this many. The Witch's Cottage and the Well. I don't know, I'm excited about the story that we're going to be getting here. I'm excited about it. All right, let's see. The apprentice is learning, so let's just find it. Apprenticeship. What I'm finding is that I'm learning how to be in a different way in the world. I'm learning how to trust my intuition, to trust my heart, to stay in the present moment, to be guided by spirit, God, my soul, in everything that I do. And also to make my life a living prayer. It's so cool. I'm being guided in that. But today I had a different plan than my spirit had, but I'm following my spirit, and so I'm following my spirit and I'm just seeing where it leads. Following my heart. Love. Okay, so let's see. And people always want to text me when I'm on this video, and that's annoying. But I'm also learning to be discerning and, put my energy where I want it to go and not to get distracted by things that are taking me off course, to know where I want to go and let go of the things that are distracting me. At the heart of so many fairy tales is the critically important concept of apprenticeship. Hard work must always be undertaken, and the heroine must be willing to learn from her mentor in return for a great gift. And so, in the old Slavic story Vasilisa the Beautiful, the heroine must go to live with the fearsome old hag, Baba Yaga, for a while, and complete the tasks that are set for her before she can return home, carrying the fire her stepmother had sent her to collect. The messages in such tales are clear. Sometimes you have to step off the path you're so determinedly striding along and learn some new skills. You must make sure that you learn them well, through your own hard work and lived experience, not experience copied from others, and you must continue to learn respectfully and for however long is necessary from someone who really knows. So I am learning from my spirit. I have all these other voices in my head saying, you have to work on your business. You have to do this. How are you going to make a living in the world? You need to clean out your office. You need to clean. And, and then there's my spirit that's just like, what's really important right now is for you to attend to what's coming up in you and be there for yourself and love yourself. And today, I did a lot of things that I needed to do yesterday. It's following that energy. Yesterday, I had a lot of tasks that I needed to do, and I felt the energy and I wanted to do them. It's that, I forget what it's called. I want to say divine direction, but it's when you get that incentive to go out and do those things. Divine inspiration. I don't know. But today I'm being guided to, no, we're not doing any of those things. We're not going to keep being productive. We're not productive, however you mean that. No, we're going inside and we're going to take care of these parts of ourselves. To fully express our calling and effectively put our gifts out into the world, we must be able to tolerate the idea of apprenticeship. We need to understand what we don't yet know and what we haven't yet quite become. And that's the other message that I'm getting. Like, you don't know who you are yet, so stop trying to be it in the world. It's okay for me to do these videos, but I don't know what I'm being called to do yet, and I know that I'm being called to do something. But I have to become or uncover who I am and what my gifts are to the world first, and this is part of that process. We must work hard, undertake the proper research, and find the right teachers in order to embody the necessary lived experience before we're ready to share our gift with the world. What do you need to apprentice yourself to ready yourself for the challenges ahead? Okay, and then the sleeping. Sometimes at a critical juncture in her story, a fairy tale heroine will fall asleep, and she'll stay asleep for a very long time, perhaps even for that magical period of 100 years. Sometimes she'll fall into such a deep sleep that, like the Sleeping Beauty on her silk-covered bed or Snow White in her coffin of glass, it will seem likely to onlookers that she's dead. Nevertheless, she isn't dead, and nor does this protracted slumber make her a passive character. While she's caught up in this state of apparent suspended animation, something important is being incubated inside her. And so above all, this deep sleep reflects a process of deep transformation. The heroine is repairing and renewing herself. She's also preparing herself, making herself ready for the prince who soon will arrive, and for the next more active and relational stage of her life. And like the butterfly in the making that's still resting and growing in the darkness of its cocoon, the time will soon come for her to wake up and break free. What do you need to take the time to incubate in your life right now? What wants to grow in the slow darkness of your becoming? Okay. Number 5, disguising. A fairy tale heroine caught up in a difficult circumstance will often find herself having to conceal who she really is. Perhaps her true identity has been stolen by another. Perhaps she's fleeing from danger and needs anonymity. I don't know how to say that. In all these cases, she'll be required to hide her real nature until it's safe to emerge into the bright daylight of her own truth. Like Cinderella, her disguise might require her to conceal her beauty by wearing rags and covering her face with soot and ashes. Or like the feisty princess in the English tale Catskin, who refuses to marry anyone but the man she loves, she might escape by clothing herself in a coat made from 1,000 kinds of animal skin. There are always times in our lives when we need to go underground, when we need to be anonymous, or when for our own protection we need to hide who we really are and try on a different persona for a while. But for any heroine who adopts such a disguise, the day will come when the tattered hood or the cloak made of all kinds of fur can be discarded and the radiance of her true self can shine again in a world that finally knows how to value her. That is the wounded healer and even Eris and her magical gifts. She wasn't understood. What part of you is wearing a disguise right now, and what needs to happen so that you can reveal your true self? Okay, shape-shifting. Fairy tales continually remind us that there's more to life on this beautiful animate earth than we can ever possibly understand, caught up as we are in the confines of a purely human existence. They tease us with glimpses of the mysteries that lie behind the particular aspects of the physical world that humans know. Mysteries that usually are hidden from us, stories with heroines who are shapeshifters, who are just as much seal or swan as they are woman. Break down for us the barriers between the human and the other than human, and between civilized and wild. Such fairy tales help us to understand that there are other ways of imagining the world and our place in it, and show us how it might be possible to live more intensely and more richly in that multi-layered and suddenly more animate world. This is about getting a different perspective, letting go of what you think you know. They speak to our longing for connection, for a wildness that's very far removed from our daily lives, and a yearning for the now extinct creatures which live on only in our imagination. Stories in which shape-shifting women marry human men don't always end well, though, reminding us that it can often be difficult to hold the balance between kinship and otherness. What wild creature is longing to burst free in you? How can you incorporate its energy into your everyday life? I'm going to answer this one for myself. I've been really called towards wolves, like wanting to adopt a wolf pup, which I'm sure is not a great idea for me right now, but that feeling in me is like looking into the eyes of the wolf, and I just opened a wolf in this book. I don't know if I will get a wolf or not, but I've really drawn towards it. I'm going to read this just because it's cool. In fairy tales, the wolf is usually depicted as the archetypal predator who must be feared, and if possible, like the wolf in Little Red Riding Hood, outwitted and eventually killed. From a psychological perspective, though, the wolf also represents our shadow, the part of us that we can't bear to acknowledge, and that, as a consequence, we repress. In any journey to authenticity and wholeness, though, it's important to uncover and confront our shadow. The purpose here isn't to kill it, because it makes no sense to kill any part of ourselves, no matter how uncomfortable it might make us. but to examine it and understand it, and so strip it of its power to make us afraid. Wolves, nevertheless, come in all shapes and sizes, and we shouldn't let our prejudices and expectations blind us to the possibility of a wolf who might be an important ally. And so, in the Russian fairy tale, Tsarevich Ivan, the firebird, and the gray wolf, a gray wolf who has eaten Tsarevich Ivan's horse and is sorry for it, bears the prince on his back, helps him rescue a princess, and finally brings him back to life after he's killed. What does the wolf have to teach you about this stage of your journey? Will you fear him, or will you try to make him your friend? I just saw like the depth in the wolf's eyes, how much it's seen. That's what I was looking at, like how deep the eyes are, like the soul of the wolf, how much it's seen. It's like the collective unconscious. That's what I saw in the wolf. All the wars and the hatred and the anger and the violence and all the love and the beauty and the companionship and camaraderie, all of it. Okay, the witch's cottage. And I wanted to sit with the wolf. Just absorb all that. The witch's cottage. Oh, that's the witch, not the witch's cottage. We want the witch's cottage. Okay. The witch's cottage is a dangerous place, whether it's a house made of gingerbread like the one that the witch inhabits in Hansel and Gretel, or a hut that can run on a pair of chicken legs, such as that occupied by Baba Yaga in Slavic folklore. Inside this cottage, the fairy tale heroine is tested by the witch, and during the course of that testing, is forced to face her worst fears. What she experiences inside the witch's cottage is a profound initiation. If she gets out of the place alive, she'll be forever changed and she'll be forever stronger. Everything is at stake in stories where the action takes place inside the witch's cottage, and there's no room for error. The witch tends to always be hungry, and in her kitchen there might well be an enormous oven in which the visitors who fail her test can be roasted and eaten. The rules of engagement are a little different in the witch's cottage. You'll need somehow to win over the witch and make her trust you so that you have a chance to trick her and escape. If you can't, a roasting in that big old oven might be your fate. What does the witch's cottage look like to you? What are the fears that you need to face, those that lurk inside it, and how will you overcome them? I'm thinking of, there was a guy who lived with bears, right? And he was doing really well living with the bears until one of them, on the edge of the outcast bear, this bear was outcast by all the other bears. And they think that that's the bear that killed him. I don't know, I think there's an important lesson there. But I'll just let you figure it out, because I don't know what it is either. Then I'll have to figure it out myself. Okay, the well. All's well that ends well. We're going to end with the well, I think. As long as it ends well. Okay, also a place. In most European traditions, wells are conduits for the life-giving nourishment of the other world. They have their origins in it and bring otherworldly gifts with them into this world. I think that's cool because we're in Pluto is very prominent now, and that's like the underworld. Like our underworld is just coming up, like basically our unconscious, and all the shadow is coming up right now. In fairy tales, then, the well is an entrance to the other world, a location where we can pass out of the everyday into a world of magic and possibility. In the Grimm's Mother Hole, a young girl throws herself into a well, Mother Holle or Mother Hole, I don't know how you say it, it's H-O-L-L-E. A young girl throws herself into a well to recover a lost spindle. She finds herself in a beautiful new world where she apprentices herself to a powerful old woman. I love how that just brought us back to the beginning. As a result of her hard work, and because she was kind to all the magical beings she met there, the girl leaves enriched, quite literally covered in a shower of gold. Her unkind, lazy sister leaves covered in tar. We never know exactly what we're going to find in the dark depths of a well, but we can guarantee that our foray into the other world will leave us utterly transformed. Whatever the nature of our journey and whatever wonders and strangeness we might find as we walk our path, respect and reciprocity are everything. The fairy tale heroine never succeeds in her task without kindness and without the assistance of others. And at the bottom of a well, your true character and your intentions can't be hidden. Depending on how you behave there, a journey into the well might be a blessing or a curse. Okay, so that's actually what I've been saying, is that the healers are being guided to go inward into our own shadow, into our own darkness, and face it with love and presence. Because very soon we're going to be called to give our gifts to the world, and if we don't, if we're not strong enough because we haven't gone deep enough into our own shadow, we're going to be in the witch's cottage in quite an ordeal. It's going to get scary. Remember to choose love over fear, and that everything is a part of you, so there's nothing to be afraid of. Okay. Do you have the courage to let yourself fall into the unknown depths of the well? But we're all afraid of something. Then Spirit will face it with you. You're not alone. You have so many guides and angels and loved ones on the other side that are with you right now, helping you face this darkness. And the strength of character to honor the otherworldly forces you might find there. Do you have the courage to let yourself fall into the unknown depths of the well, and the strength of character to honor the otherworldly forces you might find there? That's pretty cool. Okay, so all's well that ends well. Thank you for joining me in Tarot Tuesday. I hope you found that fun and interesting, and that you found some gifts along the way. I love you. Have a great, fun journey. Don't take anything too seriously.